Now you're probably wondering what kind of things you can use one-point perspective for. So I'm going to show you some basic buildings. You see I've got my horizon line, and then I have the vanishing point right in the middle, and then I have just a basic house form just squared up with the sides and the top and the bottom. And then I take my ruler and I line up the corner of the house with the vanishing point. So I draw the line all the way back from the corner to the vanishing point. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the next corner and line that up with the vanishing point too. And then the last corner, which is the peak of the roof, and line that up. So you see how they all kind of go back toward that vanishing point. Now I have to establish the back corner of the house, and that line has to be completely vertical, just like the line at the other end of that space. And like that, those two lines are parallel. And then the one ending the roof has to be parallel to the one beginning the roof, so that you have to have the slant at the same angle. So there's a basic house. Now for the windows in the side that's actually facing you parallel, you basically just have to square up the tops and bottoms and sides with the tops and bottom and side of the house. So I already did that because I thought you probably already know how. But the ones in the side that goes back to the vanishing point are different. So I start by drawing two lines that are the size that I want the windows to be, top and bottom. And then I draw lines from the top and bottom of those short lines back to the vanishing point, just like I did with that side of the house. And then I draw a straight up and down line to make the other edge of the window. And then I do the same thing with the other one. So any windows that are in that side that converges also have to converge. Otherwise they won't look like they belong in that side. And all of those vertical lines have to be vertical. Now these cross pieces, they need to converge too if they're going to look right. So that's how you do that. So to draw a door in that converging side of the house, I start with a vertical line, the height of the door that I want, and then I converge the top of the door with a vanishing point and add another vertical line, and that ends my door. Now for the windows that are on the other side of the door, you notice that I have the lines that I drew back to the vanishing point, and I could just fit those windows in there. Now we'll go on to this other house. A lot of houses have like an enclosed front porch. And an easy way to do that is to draw the side of the house with the side of the enclosed front porch. And then you line up the corners with a vanishing point. So the side converges. So this is where that porch roof meets the house, and that has to converge. And then the edge of the porch roof, and that has to converge too. And then the bottom of the porch roof, and that has to converge as well. Then all of the lines that finish up the shapes have to be parallel to the lines that begin the shapes. Okay, now this one has to be slanted here like that one was, parallel. And then this one is vertical. And then this one is slanting at the same angle as the roof. So if I move my ruler like that, that helps me. And so there's my house with the enclosed front porch. Now you probably realize already that the doors and the windows in the side of the house facing you parallel just get squared up with that side of the house. But then the other ones, of course, have to converge. And basically, it's just the same as what I did with the other house. I have to draw the lines that are vertical for the side of the window that's closest to me, and then line up those top and bottom of those lines with the vanishing point. And then I have another window over here, and I can just actually use those converging lines and fit that window right in, because it's going to be the same height as the one I just drew. And then when I draw the cross pieces, I can just lay the ruler across and draw them together. Use 1-point perspective to draw a road that goes down between the two houses. So the first thing I want to do is just draw a mark that shows about how far away I want the road to be from the front of the house. And I did that, and then when I draw my line from the vanishing point, I make sure I go over that mark so I have that width that I want and the space between the house and the road. And then, of course, I can draw like a sidewalk that comes out to the road, and that has to be parallel with the horizon line if it's going to come that way. So basically that's what I do. Now it doesn't really look all that three-dimensional yet, but once I put in the lines for the sidewalk, it will. And I start by making a mark where each line's going to go, and then I line up each mark with the vanishing point. So the marks have to converge, the lines on the sidewalk have to converge with the vanishing point. And as I go from one mark to the other, I make sure that I hold the other end of the ruler on the vanishing point and just kind of let it spin. And see, that makes it look a lot more three-dimensional. And the same way I can draw the sidewalk that goes along the side of the house over here. First of all, starting by marking the width and then making the sidewalk parallel to the horizon line, like that. And then, just like I did with the other one, marking how far each one of those lines will be from each other, or the space between the lines. And then I line up each one of those marks with a vanishing point. I have to make sure all the time that my ruler is on the vanishing point, that I don't move it off of there when I'm moving it to draw the lines. So that part's important. Sure that it stays at that, same angle that's created by the vanishing point, and that you don't move it around, like I was just demonstrating. So there you have it, some basic buildings in 1-point perspective.